Hi, this is Ms. Dutchins, and I'm going to show you how to do the French and Indian War reading and questions. So obviously this slide is going to have the video that I'm making right now, which are going to be video directions. These are available on this assignment itself, the weekly agenda, and also on the daily agenda. So there are 3 different spots for you guys to go ahead and watch that. For this first slide, just a heads up, this assignment is not very long because it's just for this Tuesday, and so it's assigned Tuesday and it's going to be due Tuesday night, and it's a very short assignment. So follow the directions if you want to know exactly how to do this and not to get confused and things like that. So for this slide, when it says read this, it just means all you have to do is read what's on this side. And then you're going to do your writing on this side. So it says directions, answer these using your text to your left. So you have your text, then you have your questions. The first one said move this arrow to another name used for the French and Indian War. So you're going to move this arrow to the other name. So it says otherwise known as the 7 Years' War. So I'd move my arrow there. For some reason you delete the arrow, you can just add a line to make up for it. It would be under the plus sign for the iPad. So just know that if something happens to your arrow, you can add a line or an arrow using the plus sign. So it says who was fighting each other in the French and Indian War. So you're going to tell me who was fighting in this war, and you're going to get the answers from reading this. Then it says what caused the French and Indian War. So what was the primary cause of it? Like, why did they fight? It's not like they just woke up and said, we're in a war. Something happened. So move an arrow to the why the British struggled in the beginning of the war. The British were not that good when it came to fighting. So go ahead and tell me why this was so by moving this arrow to the point in which it tells you that. Who and what changed the tide of the war in favor of the British? So obviously things started to go onto the British side. They started succeeding. So why was this the case? Who and what changed the tide of the war in favor of the British? So there was a certain person who changed that tide. Who was that person? And what did they do? What was the positive outcomes of the French and Indian War? So what were some things that were good about the French and Indian War? And then how did the French and Indian War become a cause for the Revolutionary War? So a lot of people, historically, this is seen as a cause of what's going to happen later between the colonies and Britain. So what is that? How did the French and Indian become the cause? Why did the colonists feel the need to rebel against Great Britain? Because that answer does come within here. Okay, so join and die. So what you have here is a political cartoon, and this was made by Benjamin Franklin. You're going to read this little blurb right here about this cartoon, and then you're going to answer the questions below. So it says, what do the letters around the snake represent? So it says, think of the American colonies. If you look at these like little initials, you'll notice that some of them sound like some of the colonies that you learned about. Again, it's going to be a lot easier to answer these questions if you read this right here and you take my hints. Who and what was the warning by join or die? Can a snake fight if it's torn apart? Can colonies fight if they are not united? So if they are not working with each other, can they win or will they eventually lose? 3. What was happening that caused Benjamin Franklin to publish this political cartoon? What is the assignment about? So what was the main thing happening during this time? So the massacre at Fort Loudon, you're again going to read what's on the left and you're going to answer your questions that are on the right. What did the British build the fort? Why did the British build Fort Loudon? Move this arrow to what was traded between Native Americans and the colonists. How did the Native Americans respond to the British would no longer trade weapons with them? So how did they respond? With anger, with malice? What did they do? Move this arrow to why the Cherokee massacred the unarmed group at Cane Creek. And why do you think some hostages chose to live out their lives with the Cherokee? And then lastly, do you think this event will affect the relationship between the natives and the British down the line, and why? So very basic questions, and then all your answers are going to come from here. Obviously, if you need help with this assignment, let me know, but it's pretty straightforward. I will be going over it in the Google Meet as well, and helping you out as we go along. So, but after you finish the assignment, just don't forget to hit mark as done in Google Classroom so you can get your points. But that's it. So thank you for listening.